Hi there, welcome to a new video. This is Molly McCord and we are going to talk about the upcoming full moon in Sagittarius. It is exact on May 29th at 7:19 Pacific time or 2:19 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Now in these videos I show you the chart for this lunation, for this full moon, and then we talk about the stories, the conversations that are happening within this chart. And the best way for you to benefit from these videos is to look at what is showing up for you, especially with the placement of the moon. And that's because in the full moon charts, the moon is the star of the show. The moon illuminates. It is showing you what you didn't see before. It's highlighting new information, new messages in your emotional world. It's showing and revealing what you're ready to understand now. So the full moon is really centered on the moon. And in this chart, it is at 8 degrees of Sagittarius, opposing the sun here at 8 degrees of Gemini. So I'm going to talk about what this means, and then we're also going to talk about some other important energies in this chart, which are quite unique. So what I would recommend is for you to get out your natal chart and to look at where 8 degrees of Sagittarius is for you. And this is a highlight of the planets or points in your chart. Now, this moon is very fiery. Sagittarius is a fire sign, but it is about the higher wisdom, the knowledge, your opinions, what you have learned about the world, what you have learned about yourself, and how all of that affects your emotional areas, your emotional body, because that's what the moon is. Now, the moon is also how we mother ourselves and each other. It represents the mother in a chart. The moon is also where you go for personal fulfillment and emotional satisfaction. And when the moon is in Jupiter, is ruled by Jupiter in Sagittarius, everything is bigger. We have bigger feelings, bigger opinions, a bigger sense of justice, a bigger sense of what is right and wrong, a bigger sense of the world and where we feel about ourselves in the world. This moon can be a roller coaster. It can be the highs and the lows. And so we take that moon and we balance it with the sun in Gemini. Now the sun in Gemini is more interested in specifics, details, facts, the linear data, the specifics that we can dive into and look at. And it's really about wisdom and information we've learned, whereas the moon in Sagittarius is what we have gathered. Information and knowledge that we have accumulated that has formed our opinion of the world. And we counteract that with the sun in Gemini that says, okay, show me examples specifically of this knowledge. And so in Gemini, we look at case studies. We say, okay, well, here's an example of that, or here's a data point, or let me tell you a story. Because Gemini is the storyteller. And so when these two are together, it can be big stories. You know, our heart, the moon is our heart. It has big feelings. And then we take those feelings to Gemini, the mind, and it says, okay, now let's look at the facts. Let's talk about this. Let's share it. Let's look at it from a different perspective. In fact, in Gemini, we often need to look at things from two perspectives because it is a sign of duality. So we have a lot of energy in this full moon that's asking you to look at the emotional stories you're carrying, how they have formed your opinions, how they have created the stories in your head, which is Gemini, and then how those stories in your head have affected your heart. So there's this dialogue here between opinions, what you believe, what's in your heart, and how those are creating the stories in your head. And are these serving you? And what is really needed to be seen in a new light and from a higher perspective. Now, the moon in Sagittarius is getting support here. It's in what's called a grand trine in fire signs. A grand trine is rare, and it's when we have these planets meeting up and conversing in each of the 3 fire signs. So we have the North Node in Leo, which is reminding you to trust your heart, your desires. It's giving you courage to stand on your own. It's also giving you confidence. And then we have Chiron, which has just moved into Aries. And it's asking you to believe in yourself in a new way. It's asking you to understand that you're here for a reason. And if you don't understand that reason, Chiron in Aries is going to help you understand who you are in an even deeper level. So you have these 3 planets, these 3 energies all conversing in this full moon. And of course, with the fire signs, we get fired up and we have inspiration and motivation. It activates our ego energies, our sense of, I can do this. Your healthy ego supports your ability to follow your dreams, to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, and to go for it. So there's a lot of energy in this full moon that's asking you to check in with how you are believing in yourself, and if you're integrating that into your stories in your head. So Gemini is very mental, and it can create a lot of anxiety when it's out of balance. The mind can spin and think about the times when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're trying to solve problems, or you're replaying situations, or you're rehashing conversations, you're looking for a solution. All of that is actually Gemini or Mercury energy, and it's trying to find new information to work off of. And in this lunation, we are being asked to temper our minds with what we believe and trust, and to know that we have the tools right now for those parts of ourselves to come together, to believe in ourselves even more. So overall, this full moon is very encouraging, and it's asking you to check in with how you are taking care of yourself and your heart right now, no matter what your mind might be overplaying or overthinking. Now, this lunation is ruled by Jupiter. And so that's because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter right now is in Scorpio, in retrograde in Scorpio, 15 degrees. And this is a very private energy because Jupiter in Scorpio is asking you to review your fears and where you have been unconsciously holding yourself back, or where your shadow energy, your shadow self has been really loud. And this Jupiter energy is showing us the wisdom of that, of the sense that we are complicated beings, but we have the ability to understand ourselves in deeper levels, to go through a healing process, and to basically look at the wisdom that comes up in our challenges and the wisdom in our emotional world. Now, this Jupiter is actually receiving beautiful support from Neptune in Pisces, who's now at 16 degrees. This is new territory for Neptune. And Neptune in Pisces is your higher self. It's your intuition. It's your soul's guidance. It's trusting what you can't see, trusting that blind path. And when this energy is synced up here with the Jupiter in Scorpio, we feel more intuitive. We get a sense of our intuition opening. We get downloads of more of our spiritual gifts. So it's a very private energy that's supporting your transformation into being a more spiritual being, into understanding that of course you have spiritual gifts here, and sometimes we have to dig deep and dig in to reconnect with them. Now, the other beautiful energy we have here is a second grand trine. Okay, look at this. These three connection points are the water signs. So we have Jupiter in Scorpio connecting with Neptune in Pisces at 16 degrees, and they are both talking to Venus, who is here at 11 degrees of Cancer. Now, she is our feminine energy, our feminine self, how we are receptive, how we receive, how we tune in and understand our own private emotional world and what we need to feel safe in the world. Because Venus in Cancer, she needs her alone time. She needs to feel safe with her tribe, with her family, with her dear friends. These are the girlfriends that you can count on, who will see you through any time of hardship or when you have your ugly cry. These are the women you turn to. All of this energy is being beautifully supported during this full moon. And so the feminine energy here of Venus is being amplified and supported by Jupiter in Scorpio and being lovingly guided by Neptune and Pisces. What this means is that there's a huge activation of intuition, psychic abilities, spiritual gifts, femininity, your heart, your true self, your vulnerabilities. It's like that sense of it feels safe to be me. I feel safe to express myself from the heart with people I trust. This is a big, beautiful energy of feminine strength and power. And what I love here is that not only do we have this grand trine in water, we have this grand trine in fire, which is the masculine energy. So do you see how we have this beautiful balance point of your feminine energy and your masculine energy, which not only works together through these planets conversing, but it's a reminder of the Gemini energy, which is both the masculine and the feminine. So this lunation is really asking you to check in with both sides of yourself. Are you trusting that you can do it, that you have the energy and inspiration to follow what your healthy ego is saying to do, the bigger dream? Then we have the feminine energy coming through that's reminding you to listen to yourself, to trust yourself, to believe in your intuition, and to understand that there is a bigger purpose and a bigger timing. And can you trust that? So this lunation is quite beautiful, my friends, and it's quite rare. Now, if you've been following these videos I've been doing for a while, you know that I've been talking about Team Aries and Team Capricorn. That was really big energies for the past few months. Well, now these energies have dispersed. And that's something else I want to show you in this full moon, is that now we have the planets. Look at how they're scattered in the chart. Look at how they're all in their own place. They're all in their own slice of pizza. We have the energy of Aries. We have Uranus and Mercury in Taurus, the Sun in Gemini. We have Pallas Athena and Venus in Cancer. We have Sirius and the North Node in Leo. So right here, the first 5 signs of the zodiac, we have planets and asteroids present. There's currently nothing in Virgo and nothing in Libra. We have Jupiter in Scorpio, the moon in Sagittarius. We have these 3 planets in Capricorn. This is Vesta, home and hearth, Saturn, and Pluto. Then we have Mars, who's now in Aquarius, the South Node in Aquarius, and then Neptune and Pisces. We have 10 astrological energies activated now, which disperses what we previously had when we had that huge focus on Aries and that huge focus on Capricorn energies. Things have loosened up. Are you feeling that? There was a tightness, right? There was a discomfort and a tension, and maybe you felt stuck and you didn't know what to get started. This full moon is relaxing. And I'm getting the image of literally the muscles in your body can relax and they can let go and they can follow the path and they can. I'm also getting the image of like the Wheel of Fortune of Tarot, where now there's more energy to support the wheel turning, to support the natural churnings of life. And so with this full moon, you're looking at what parts of your Wheel of Fortune are ready to move and to spin and to get more energy. Because we have so much going on here in the sky that's activating all these different parts of your chart too. So what you have to watch out for is feeling scattered, feeling overwhelmed, and feeling any kind of anxiety about everything you want to do. That happens when the planets are in the mutable signs, because the mutable signs want to get a lot done and they're adaptable and they're all about choice. And so what we have to do is follow the lead of the moon, which means to trust what feels right for you. And from the moon, we go to the ruler of this full moon, which is Jupiter. And Jupiter is activating this feminine energy. So for all the ways that we have a lot we want to do and get done, the feminine planets here, your intuition is really guiding you into what feels best. And so follow that. If you have 3 things on your plate, follow what feels best. Follow where your energy rises. Follow where you feel the inspiration. Now, the other energy we have to look at here in this chart is we look at how the sun in Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is in Taurus, okay? So Mercury is finishing up his time in Taurus. And in Taurus, he's an observer. He's practical. He's money-minded. How much does it cost? How much do I have to spend? Is it worth it? What do I gain? And Mercury is about to move into Gemini right after this full moon. And that's going to pick up the pace of life. So you're going to feel that too. It's going to feel like the end of May just gets busy. And, you sync that up with perhaps the end of school or vacation coming up or projects you need to get off your plate. Things just tend to pick up the pace as May ends and June begins. And there's a lot more we want to do. We want to go on trips. We want to travel. We want to see friends. We want to do more. I mean, you think of it in terms of the seasons, and maybe you just want to be outside more. So there's a sense that things are really picking up the pace. Now, then we can see how Mars is in Aquarius, and he's trining the sun and sextiling the moon. So Mars adds more gusto to reaching out in our communities to what we see as the vision ahead, where we want to go, what's important to us. All of that is strong with Mars in Aquarius. Now, I need to give you a heads up because Mars is going to be stationing to go retrograde June 26th in Aquarius at 9 degrees Aquarius, I believe. And he's going to travel backwards over the same point. And Mars is going to be retrograde. So that's June 26th until the end of August. So most of the summer. And that means whatever you have going on right now, you should give yourself time to work it through, work it out, find new solutions. Maybe you'll really be focused on it because this is the energy of a visionary. You want it this way. This is where I want to go. But with Mars retrograde, we revision a part of our life. So something is coming up for you during this full moon to tap into, to trust, to believe, to follow what feels right, to go for it. I mean, this is the energy of going for it. But understand that more pieces are going to come in late June, July, and August. And these are more pieces that help you develop what you're putting together or to develop more confidence, courage, and belief in yourself. So the Sagittarius full moon is always positive and uplifting because that's the kind of energy that Sag is. And it wants to explore and travel and go and just, find that next adventure, that next calling. So that's what you're looking for with this full moon, is you're tuning in to your next calling, and keep in mind that it's quite receptive, because that's what feminine energy is. It's receptive. So there's the parts of you that are activated and ready to go, and then there's the parts of you that are receptive. And that will be the balance point here. That will be what you have to check in with and see, well, how much can I force or make happen? And how much do I have to allow and to just let it happen? And so I feel like this is a wonderful full moon, especially because all the planets have, scattered themselves about here. And so chances are that they're working with you in multiple areas of your life. Remember to take time to meditate, to calm down that monkey mind, to find simple things to do every day. You just make a to-do list of 2 or 3 things, focus on those, get those done. And each step of the way, things are going to come together. So I hope this has been beneficial for you and helped you gain some clarity. I will be back here to share with you a new video for the new moon in Gemini, and that will be coming out in June. So thank you, my friends. I appreciate your comments, your subscribes, and your likes, and thank you for sharing these videos in your Facebook groups and online. It's great that this information can benefit and help more people. I will see you back here on my channel very soon. Until then, namaste and have a beautiful day.